Seo Scéal Dave, tan Scéal seo an Ísland. Scéal van Triúr Amadán, Gert, Lars agus Padar. This is a story from Iceland, and it's about 3 men who were very foolish, and their names were Gert and Lars and Padar. We should a wee goal in sa Jaff. They were out drinking in the pub one night, and eventually it was time to go home. Now it was a very, very cold night, and the ground was frozen solid, and there was ice and bits of snow all over the place. But it was a very bright night. And why was it bright? It was bright because there was a full moon in the sky. Arca hier in Jalach, Ursa Gert. Ta in Jalach o Congra sin ga síl ga jogalat da lava hararhi. Look at the moon, says Gert. It's that close, you think you could touch it with your hand.
Well, maybe if we run up that hill over yonder, we could run up and we could touch it,
says Lars. And then Padar says, yeah, we'll do that. We'll run up the top of the hill and we'll steal the moon out of the sky and we can divide it between us. So the 3 men took off and they went down the road and across the fields and over the bogs, and they got to the bottom of the hill. And they started going up the hill, and there was the moon up there in front of them, shining down on them with its gentle light. And they were halfway up the hill. Agus stop shade in a Scéal again, where we tursha orhi. They stopped to have a wee rest because they were very tired. And Padar looked up and says, "Do you know that moon? I think that moon's laughing at us." And Gert looked at it, and Lars looked at us.
"I think you're right."
And they got really angry, and they were more determined than ever to catch the moon. So they climbed and climbed and climbed and ran, and they got to the top of the hill. But when they got to the top of the hill, were they disappointed? They were very disappointed. The moon had disappeared. In fact, the moon had flown away, and now it was on top of a mountain that was quite far from them. But they could see it clearly because they were on the top of the hill. But it didn't put them off. So they stumbled and slid and ran down that side of the hill, and they went over a river and then they crossed over more fields and bogland and climbed over fences until they got to the bottom of the mountain. And they started climbing up the mountain, and were puffing and panting and puffing and panting, and they were halfway up the mountain and they stopped to take a rest. Agus dark shooter in Yalharish. Agus be faragori. They looked at the moon again and became even angrier because they saw the moon laughing at them. But the moon was at the top of the mountain, and it was shining down gently upon them. So they climbed and scampered and struggled and over the rocks and sprackled here, there and everywhere, and they got up to the top of the mountain. Agus Sturge, Padar, "Can you she? Tant Yalahar Hula East? Where did she go? The moon's away. The moon's away again. Where did she go?"
"Well, she was here a minute ago,"
says Lars. And then Gert says, "There she is. She's down there, down below in the loch. She's swimming in the loch now." And right enough, when they looked down the other side of the mountain, they saw the moon right on the top of the loch. Says, "Right, okay, let's go. We'll get down the mountain here and we'll catch the moon. And she won't even see us coming because she'll be that busy swimming in the loch in amongst all the ice." That's what the moon does, you know. And she won't even see us coming. So down they went, and they slid and they stumbled and they tripped over things, and they tripped over rocks, and they tripped over stumps of grass, and eventually they got down the bottom of the mountain, and they went across the fields and over the bogland, and they got to the edge of the loch. Well, the 3 of them were standing there at the edge of the loch, and Lars says to Padar,
"You're the best swimmer here. You jump in. That water looks very cold."
And Paddy says, I'm not the best swimmer here. I think you should jump in. So he grabbed Lars by the coat and pulled him. But whatever happened, his arm got tangled up in the coat. And the two of them went splashing into the water because we should have scallish and that because a scraddy like a 100 machine were splashing and yelling and screaming. And the other fella, oh my God, Gert thought it was so funny. He started laughing and laughing and laughing and laughing. And he was laughing that much, he slipped and slithered and slipped. And he ended up in the loch as well. And the three of them were in the water, splashing and yelling. And the moon, where was the moon? The moon was nowhere to be seen. And they didn't even mention the moon, in fact, because they were that cold at this stage, because the water was freezing cold. So they clambered out and they looked back, and the moon seemed to be in 1,000 pieces all around the loch. All these wee bits of light and glinting on the waves. And Potter says, look at the moon now, it seems to be in 1,000 pieces, it must have broken. And Lars says, no, you're wrong entirely, he says. And he pointed his finger up. He says, there she is there, up in the sky again. So Gert says, well, Tagailord and Amadí Shaw, I'm Tamashagal Nawala. I've had enough of this nonsense, I'm going home. And the other two agreed with him. So they stamped off home along the frozen road. And they got home. And from that day forward, every time these three men were out for the night, they'd look up in the sky and wonder how a thing as simple as the moon could get the upper hand on them and play tricks on them. And that's the story of Triúr Amadán, or the Three Fools. And here's a wee tune to go with it.